Welcome to the ClassCast podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Tibbins. We're presented by ReadThinkWriteSpeak.com because no one else should do it for you. Please enjoy the following discussions about life, education, philosophy, and more.
But who can unlearn all the facts that I've learned? I sat in their chairs and my synapses burned. The torture of chalk dust collects on my tongue. Thoughts follow my vision and dance in the sun. All my vasoconstrictors, they come slowly undone. Get this swift line roll. Can I live while I'm young? Can I live while I'm young? Can I live while I'm young? Can I live while I'm young?
And my school was actually hosting a job interview for graphic designers. And I was like, you know what? I think this would be a really great opportunity to just go in for like a mock interview. Like, I'm obviously not going to get this job.
Right.
But I think it'd be a really good experience for me.
By the way, this is just for anyone listening. Like, one of the best things in the world is a job interview for a job you don't really want.
Yeah, exactly. I thought it was such a good experience.
You can say anything. Yeah. You can see responses like the best thing in the world is the job interview for the job you don't want because you've got nothing to lose.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was like, okay, this will be a good experience for me to just see like what professionals are looking for and how I should act in an interview. So I went in and interviewed, and it was like the weirdest like still to this day, the weirdest interview I've ever had.
Till after this one.
We'll see.
But, you know, the pay teachers more is good, assuming that you have good teachers.
That's a good point. Yeah.
You know,
I guess I just like assumed that a lot of like the laziness behind like teachers is the fact that they're not getting paid enough, just because I see that around a lot.
Yeah.
But I mean, honestly, teachers could just be lazy just because they're lazy.
Yeah, that's how you become a teacher. I mean,
every single math teacher I've ever had either gave up on me like almost immediately or just kind of let me slip on through.
Why do you think that is?
I mean, I know that I was a terrible student, and if I could get away with something, I would do my very best to do that.
What do you mean you're a terrible student, though?
Okay.
Like, I mean, I taught you in an honors English class that you did reasonably well in, and that was a hard class.
But you actually took the time to get to, like, to teach us personally.
Right.
And, like, that actually, like, I felt respected in your class. In other classes, I didn't really feel that personal touch or even acknowledged as a person. Like, I know that I'm your student, but am I a person to you? Because a lot of the time, yeah, exactly. And like, I felt a lot of the times that we were kind of just like overlooked. And if I slipped out of the class to go to the bathroom and then like never came back, they wouldn't even notice. And I would come back the next class and they'd be like, do you have this and this? And I'm like, I didn't even get that paper because I wasn't even here.
Or they notice, but it's not worth the time to write an email, do the report.
Exactly.
So many random people just constantly affect other things you do in work now. Like, did it make you more comfortable, less comfortable?
I feel like it kind of like made me accept who I was as a person, because I was hoping like when I started serving that I would become less socially awkward, that I'd be witty and I'd be like hilarious and people would love me. But no, that wasn't the case at all. I just like ended up learning that like, yo, I'm like really awkward and like I should just accept it, and that's just like who I am, and people will just like, oh no, she's so weird and awkward. Let me just tip her a little bit more. But
pity tips.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, yeah.
But no, I mean honestly, I feel like it, like serving helped make me realize that working as a server, there's so many like ridiculous requests, and I get it. Like, a lot of people come home from work and are really frustrated with their jobs and then go out to a restaurant and then they have to wait for food or something weird happens and they get like even more frustrated and they take it out on the server.
Right.
Which sucks for the server, but like I get where they're coming from, but it kind of just shows who you are as a person to see like if they have patience or not, to kind of just like hold that back and be like, and realize that it's not the server's fault that things are going terribly wrong, or they don't have a spoon for you and are instead are giving you a plastic spoon for your child, and they freak out over that.
Yeah, and it's like that person made that decision.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like I legitimately had like a mom come up to me and she was like, my daughter got a fork. And I was like, okay, I'm sorry. Can I get her something else? And she was like, all the other children have spoons. And I was like, oh, okay, well, we actually are, like, at max capacity right now. Like, we don't have any extra spoons, but I can get you a plastic spoon. Yeah. And she was like, no, absolutely not. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, what do you mean? And she was like, every other child has a metal spoon. I demand that my child is treated exactly the same. And I was like, I would love to be able to do that for you, but we legitimately don't have any spoons left. And she was like, go in the back and wash it. And I was like, there's nothing in the back to wash because they're all out on the floor right now. And she was like, I want to speak to your manager.
They're like, and that's actually good though, because at that point you're like, if we don't have enough silverware, that is above my pay grade. Like someone else needs to order more silverware. Exactly. That is not,